And we are back. Pokemon Platinum, Hardcore Nuzlocke, only using water types for this run. We are currently on our 6th attempt, headed toward that 7th gym here. We chuck out our Empoleon, taking on the Golbat with a freeze. Beautiful stuff here, and we're just going to go in and fade with the Surf. Saturn getting absolutely bodied right now. Two more Pokemon, though, and the Toxicroak, his ace, comes down. She is looking pretty formidable against the Penguin with that steel typing weakness. So the Revenge comes down. That would have done so much damage to the King Penguin, or Emperor Penguin, I should say. The Poison Jab gets a critical hit on our Pride and Joy Gyarados there, and now we are definitely hurting and in range. Really tough stuff here. I was talking a little bit of smack, and Saturn's just kind of slapping me across the face with it. We're going to pivot into Trace, our Quagsire. We take the Poison Jab, no problem. We're going to go for the Yawn, just lock down the, the Toxicroak as another crit comes down. Toxicroak is here right now. He is going to get drowsy and fall asleep the next turn, so we're going to pivot back into another Water Ground typing in the Whiscash, and finally the Toxicroak is asleep, and we are completely safe to fade with a Stab Earthquake. Definitely counting our ducks before they were in a row. And the Bronzer comes down, and this is going to be an easy coin flip fade here. We get a critical, trying to even the playing field, and one more Surf will do it. Saturn is defeated. All right, it's time for our rematch against Mars. She's got the Perugly. She's just chilling at Lake Verity here. Golbat comes down, and this time we start with the Quagsire. Let's see if this fight can be a lot cleaner than the one against Saturn. That was kind of embarrassing against the Toxicroak, honestly, but the Supersonics are missing. Golbat cannot focus, and Quagsire fades on the bat, and now their Bronzer comes down. Another Surf here in the rain. Iron Defense for some buffed up stats here, but the Surf is special, so it doesn't even matter, and we get another kill there, and there is the infamous Perugly. The stab fake out comes down, but this is not the first fight, so it's not nearly as scary. I think if she learned something like maybe Giga Impact or even Takedown would be really good with a stab, but she's got Fake Out, Hypnosis, Feint Attack, and probably one more move, so she really isn't that scary, but we do pivot into the Hypnosis, so the Gyarados is just chilling on the job. They're both asleep. There's the slash, so a crit slash could be pretty scary, but it really is just a ugly Pokemon, so I think the name is pretty fitting as the Sea Leviathan finishes off Mars, and now we are on to the next part of the run. We're just going up the snowy mountainside, and a trainer sends out Curlia, and Quagsire has a quad effective weakness to grass, and the Magic Leaf comes down, but he holds 34 HP. We weren't scared, not for a moment. The Earthquake comes down and puts down the Curlia. People clap loud when you win an Oscar. They clap louder when you win a Grammy. But people clap the loudest when you fall. And Champ got knocked out today. Tentacruel falls, and man, this 7th gym here, this ice gym right before Candace is proving to be a problem as Whiscash gets slapped with the ice beam. She's hurting, and Glalie is about to showcase why he is a formidable Pokemon. And you know, I do prefer Frostlass. It has a lot of utility, super fast. That ghost typing is really nice. But Glalie, dude, is if you let him just pop off like this, look at this. A crit ice beam, leaving Gyarados with 14 HP. I am just like, no matter how many runs I do, no matter how many Nuzlockes, there's always a moment where you just get a little bit complacent, you get a little bit too comfortable, and things like this happen. You just lose a Pelipper or a Pelipper, you get frozen for 7 turns in a row. That's the beauty of Pokemon, is just the RNG sometimes is so clutch, and other times it will leave you so high and dry that you could have a run in the bag, and then you just get some really bad rolls, and that's it. So especially for this run, there's another critical. Dude, this is insanity. This Glalie, though, this absolute Glalie has almost taken out half the team here, and he wants it all. He absolutely does, as Quagsire wants to come in and finish as the crunch comes down, and we finally fade with the Surf. Can we turn this ship around, or are we just going to drown? That's the question. Well, as far as Candace goes, let's see if we can get in here and secure that 7th gym badge. This is our 6th attempt. This run has been so rough at points. It has just been brutal. Gardenia is still laughing at how many times she's killed us. So Can we beat Candace handedly? We send out Quagsire. We get a little bit of Rain Dance to stall for the yawn turn. We don't want to risk a crit. We want Gyarados to be as healthy as possible. We want to get her out there, get as many Dragon Dances down as we can. Sneasel is working with all physical type attacks, so that Intimidate is actually going to be massive. Really good stuff there. I do believe we also have the Shell Bell on the Sea Leviathan, so anytime we attack, we can just heal back up. And I'm actually going to pivot back to the Quagsire here, get a little bit greedy for a double Intimidate. That way, Sneasel really has to rely on the crit against the Gyarados to chunk us down. So that way, we're a little bit safer when it comes to 2, 3, 4 Dragon Dances. So look at that. That Feint attack does really not much damage at all, and now Sneasel potentially can sleep for 3-4 turns here. So if that's the case, this is absolutely GG, no surrender at 15, and another Dragon Dance comes down. Sneasel is asleep. She doesn't know what's going on right now, and Gyarados is just ramping up to the heavens, and I do believe 3-4 Dragon Dances is enough. We go ahead and get the neutral return in there and snipe the Sneasel. The Piloswine or Piloswine comes down. We go for another full damage return, and it is a fadeaway crit on the Pillow Mammoth there. Frostlass comes down. We're going to go to the Earthquake here since return does not affect, and the Ghost Ice Ghost goes down, and then Abomasnow here to finish this fight. Can return do enough damage from that range? And it absolutely can. Candace goes down, we secure the 7th gym badge, and we might be able to pull this out. As far as the fight against Galactic Cyrus in the Team Galactic HQ, it's literally going to be the same strategy that we just saw against Candace. We get Quagsire out there, get the yawn set up, and then we go straight in to the Gyarados, looking absolutely formidable at this point in the game. It's crazy how this Gyarados comes from a tiny little Magikarp. I absolutely love it. I love it when you get a really bad pre-evolution or just someone you don't really think much of, and then once they evolve, you're like, oh my gosh, they're not messing around. Always a good sight to see. As the Sneasel gets cleared, the Crobat comes down, we roll the 5% mischance with the Ice Fang, and the Poison Bat drops, and that only leaves the Honchkrow in this fight, and we can roll the Ice Fang again, or we can go for the neutral return. It doesn't really matter, as we are faster and we are stronger. Cyrus is defeated. All right, so we are at the Spear Pillar now, taking on Mars and Jupiter. We are back to back with our rival Barry here, and there's not too much happening in this fight. However, it does pave the way for the Distortion World battle against Cyrus, and there's been a theme in this video, the underestimating of difficulty. I mean, when you think water type Pokemon, there's always so many options, and a lot of water types are strong. They're only weak to grass and they're only weak to electric. So you should be having a good time. It's just, I think I got too comfortable and I just didn't put in the time or preparation, especially when it comes to this Cyrus fight coming up. But as far as this double battle goes, it really was just Gyarados and Empoleon coming in and laying claim to what is theirs. Uno drops back, shoots the Ice Beam, and now it is time for the run to end. It is time to take on Cyrus. All right, you make it through the ridiculous maze, you solve the puzzle, you get it all together here, and Cyrus is just puppy guarding Giratina. The Houndoom comes down with a stab, dark pulse, critical. Tell me how you really feel, Cyrus. So we do get the yawn off. We pivot into the flamethrower. We dodge the burn. So potentially our saving grace here. We get the Gyarados in there, get 1 Dragon Dance, make it 2 Dragon Dances. On top of that, Houndoom wakes up almost instantly. I don't know if he has early bird or if he was just feeling it. On top of that, he has Thunder Fang, which is quad super effective. Then the Gyarados comes out and cuts our attack with the Intimidate. So now we can't one-shot him, and potentially we're definitely dead to a crit. Now Gyarados doesn't have a lot of options to hit us with. I think it's got Aqua Tail and Ice Fang of its own, so we could potentially go for it. I'm just really scared of losing the Gyarados. However, looking back on this now, I should have just stayed in. I absolutely should have just stayed in, because look at that. Quagsire's gone. Quagsire is absolutely gone. Gyarados is probably not going to be able to come out anyway, because if you swap in for the Intimidate, that's great, but 67 HP is not a lot to work with. Barrow is actually dead from earlier. We just have her here for the HMs, and then we have the Vaporeon and Whiscash. So this is going to be an absolute slogfest, and the rest of the Pokemon here, Vaporeon, Whiscash, and Empoleon, are really going to have to band together to keep this run alive. So I went ahead and looked up Cyrus's moveset just to open the window here to potentially get out of here without losing anybody, and we do find out that Gyarados has Earthquake on Cyrus's Gyarados has Earthquake as well as ours. So right here, we are just going to pivot and cheese. We are going to use up Gyarados' Earthquakes. We're going to get the Empoleon out there with the Steel typing, baiting the Earthquake. And now we are getting so many Intimidates down on Gyarados, who only has physical attack to deal. So this is actually going really well. So let's just keep doing this and let's see. Now, if he crits, then we are absolutely screwed. On top of that, the freeze comes down onto the Penguin. So one of our 3 healthy Pokemon is now in absolute trouble as these Ice Fangs are coming down here. The Intimidates are piling up. And I mean, as far as healthy wise, the Penguin is still almost full health, but that freeze, as we saw against Candace, can absolutely stay forever, and you could be absolutely in trouble as a critical hit Waterfall comes down. That is so disrespectful. On top of that, Waterfall is 4 times not very effective against Empoleon's typing, and it still does that much damage. So it's just, this is the worst Distortion World battle I've ever had. It really is. Like, the preparation was so subpar, but I was just riding the coattails of the Gyarados, as you do, because she's so strong, and I'm sitting here like, hey, maybe we still, on top of that, we did not use up all of the Earthquakes. So I think looking back now, I should have just ramped up with the Gyarados. We chopped Gyarados down to -6. So we could have just Dragon Danced into Oblivion and then swept the next 3 Pokemon. But as you're about to see, that is not what happens. We get the Vaporeon in there and we're chipping down with Surf and healing with Aqua Ring. But really, this Gyarados was our key to victory. I don't know what I was doing. I don't know what I was thinking. But this is going to cost us so much time, so much team morale. And the Giga Impact comes down, but does no damage, because -6 Intimidate is overpowered as Cracker Jacks. We clear the Gyarados, and now all of our hard work is potentially gone. We get a little Protectus, try and see what Honchkrow is going for. A Drill Peck comes down, and Vaporeon's physical defense is not great, but we do fade away on the top hat Crow. The Weavile is here, level 48. Looking so good. We do get a Protect onto the Fake Out, so that's not too shabby, especially if Fake Out was going to crit. You don't know. But now we have a bleeding out Quagsire, a bleeding out Frozen Penguin, a bleeding out Gyarados, a completely healthy Whiscash, and again, we don't have the 6th Pokemon because the Beaver died earlier. So this is just ridiculous, and I just don't know how we're supposed to get out of this, and I am still kicking myself for not sending my Gyarados back out there. So if and when this run goes doesn't work out the way we want it to, we have a beautiful game plan for next time. That just means we have to go all the way back to the beginning, get through Mars, get through Gardenia, and then go through 7 gyms on top of the Distortion World. Do you know how much time that takes? That is a ridiculous amount of time invested, and let me just skip to where we fight this Weavile. All right, so we go all in on the Gyarados swap to get that Intimidate off, so that no matter who is out there, Weavile is going to be at that -1 attack, which I feel like is a pretty good thing. But again, that Quagsire and Empoleon bleeding out with the freeze, getting hit with those critical hits, it's just, like, yes, that is bad RNG, but it's really just me being punished for poor planning and poor execution. I had a terrible game plan coming in, and you can also feel the Tentacruel death really paying off here, as well as the Pelipper death, because if we had Pelipper, we could do more water flying pivots on the Gyarados' Earthquake to get that out of here, and Pelipper is just a really good brick wall. But on top of that, Tentacruel speed stat can get in there as well, and really, if you're looking at my team, our speed stats are not great, and Weavile is having an absolute field day with it as another Ice Punch comes down, and I am going all in on this Weavile. And one of the funniest things is about to happen because I do believe we're about to clear the Weavile, and I'm a jump out of my chair at like 1 o'clock in the morning. I'll be like, yes, we did it. And Cyrus still has a Pokemon. So we live with 2 HP. The Whiscash, the legendary Derpy Fish holds on, and we are sitting here like, what are we going to do? Do we pivot into someone who's bleeding out? What do we do? We pivot into the Empoleon, who tanks an Ice Punch, and now we are going to pivot into the Gyarados for another Intimidate as Weavile's holding on with 1 HP, and now we live with 10, so we are going to pivot one more time into the Vaporeon, tank the Night Slash, hopefully no crit, we hold on, and now we should be able to hold for one more Night Slash, barring a critical. Of course, it comes down, we hold at 24, we drop back with the Surf and fade away. Let's go, Cyrus, we didn't lose anybody. And of course, dude, there it is. He sends out his Crobat, who has a busted speed stat, and now it's time for me just to sit here and get absolutely executed. We just sit here staring at our bleeding out party. We get the Empoleon out of there with the Steel type, and we sacrifice Whiscash. Did so much work, but it wasn't enough. We get one more Intimidate off onto the Crobat, potentially helping these pivots. Maybe we can get Gyarados in there, but we're running out of HP. We're running out of time, so Crobat's -1. On top of that, Air Slash is special attack. It doesn't even matter, so maybe the Penguin can just thaw out of the freeze. We cannot, and it looks like we're gonna crawl into the freezer and die. We absolutely die, and it feels good to be good. Absolutely. We got 3 more Pokemon in the red, and Cyrus is just polishing his NBA championship ring right now. He doesn't care. He doesn't care about us. He doesn't care about you. And all he wants is to kill our Quagsire. It doesn't matter. We're too slow. Crobat has no options that could potentially miss. He is just slashing us down. Maybe Air Slash has the 5% miss chance, but does it even matter? Maybe that's Air Cutter. Who knows at this point? Because I don't. We send out my prized Vaporeon. We block the cross poison with Protect, and one more Air Slash comes down. Our 6th attempt is over. It is done. I am broken. I am defeated. And now we're going to have to rebuild from nothing. It's all over. But as far as this video goes, thank you so much for your time. I really do appreciate it. And I will catch you on the flip. Peace.